wants this House to resolve and propose to the Cabinet Secretary for Finance, because that's where all this eventually to interns to cushion them against the high cost of living. While at the very sight of it, it appears very noble, Mr. Speaker, there is a serious concern in the country, and there is a conversation which as leaders we must have devoid of emotions and appreciate where we are as a country, and have a hard look at the facts and see if the trend that currently obtains is sustainable, Mr. Speaker. And I appreciate that Senator Cherargei has just walked in, and this is his motion. So I'll have a take at what I had said earlier, Mr. Speaker, for the benefit of the mover of the motion, that while I agree with you, Senator Cherargei, broadly, in broad perspective, about issues to do with the quality of training environment that our interns have, because in terms of the work environment. However, Mr. Speaker, I raised, and I was quick to raise, the fact that I do not agree with him on resolution number 1, which is the desire, Speaker, that we must have a conversation in this country about the earnings of public workers, Mr. Speaker, because we are staring at a very difficult decision. I think it was yesterday or earlier this morning, I have seen in one of the news items, the CS for Finance was speaking. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, you know, since our media houses started competing with bloggers, it's very difficult to trust anything they post about serious items unless you see a voice of a particular minister to understand or to put context into what they were saying. But broadly speaking, CS Mbadi was reminding the country that currently we are spending close to 90 billion every month paying public workers, Mr. Speaker, across the country, all the people that we pay. Last year, which is the best year in terms of revenue performance, Mr. Speaker, we collected slightly above 2.5 trillion. If out of 2.5 trillion, Mr. Speaker, nearly 40% of that goes ahead to pay the salaries of public workers, Mr. Speaker, who in my estimation are barely, I don't know, I need to get the numbers correctly. That's why I want us to have this conversation, Mr. Speaker, and this is a conversation that we shall soon be having, because we are about to begin consideration of the BPS, Mr. Speaker. If you compare the amount being spent, the people earning, vis-a-vis those that are contributing, Mr. Speaker, there's a serious discrepancy. And I gave the example a few weeks ago when I was moving a bill in this House, that in my own county, when I did the county workers, which is the total number of public servants that earn out of our shareable revenue, earning close to 40% of our shareable revenue in a county of public servants. We must reduce, Mr. Speaker. And these are things that we have to tell each other. It may not sound popular, Mr. Speaker, but even you that are being employed, you should be concerned, because of what benefit will it be for you to carry a piece of paper saying it is an employment, yet at the rate at which you are. Mr. Speaker, the rate at which our public wage bill is growing is unsustainable, and that has been the case for the last decade plus. But nobody has had the courage to confront this statistic, Mr. Speaker, and ask the people of Kenya that we perhaps relook and have a conversation about what are our priority areas. Mr. Speaker, finance, this is what you have, this is what you need to do. Out of the things that you need to do, if you do this, but I know because I don't have the resources now, let me list a priority of the things that I need to do. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, we have never had that conversation. And this is something, because I saw CS Mbadi speak about it, I think yesterday, that as a country we must speak under full realization. We need to move this conversation not just from counties. And as Senate, we have done a good job of highlighting how much is being spent by our counties on public, personnel compensation, Mr. Speaker. What is happening to the counties? It affects even our shareable revenue. Part of the reason why we cannot hit 450 billion, Mr. Speaker, is because we are being told in terms of salaries, Mr. Speaker. Required, Mr. Speaker, in learning how to work in Public Service Commission, Mr. Speaker. While that is important, resolution number 1 is in conflict with a very important national conversation that this country has been yearning to have for the last 10 years plus, but nobody has had. he has pricked our conscience as a country to appreciate that there are certain decisions which we make as a country, which in the fullness of time will ensure that making is that this is a timely conversation which we are having here as a Senate, and I hope that the minister can reveal to us so that we appreciate. You have seen, Mr. Speaker, and I think there is nothing wrong with this culture of talking to each other and saying what is available and what is not available. You know, the problem we have in this country, Mr. Speaker, is that we want to make conversations about tax realization of eventually what will be the dynamo effect on the rest of the economy, Mr. Speaker. And that is something which as leaders we must learn to be honest with ourselves. The unfortunate bit about it, Mr. Speaker, is that we are yet to realize that we need to prioritize the needs of the country, Mr. Speaker, in comparison to the resources that are available, so that we appreciate and know what to face as a republic in this day and age. Look at the country like the United States of America. The government has been on a shutdown for I don't know how many weeks because people cannot agree on a budget, because they know that you must operate within a certain fiscal frame, which, if you bust it, you are endangering the sustainable standards of living in that particular country. You are burdening the future generations. How did we get to the levels of debt that we have today, Mr. Speaker? It was because of decisions that were made at the spur of the moment, emotional decisions, Mr. Speaker, trying to appease certain sections of society without realizing that in the fullness of time, we will affect every corner of the republic because of those decisions. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I agree that in terms of human capital development, Mr. Speaker, that is charged with the PSC, Public Service Commission, that it is important that we ensure that we have skilled public workers who can offer services to the citizens, Mr. Speaker, and be assured of the future generations that when we walk to a public office, Mr. Speaker, they getting it to only increment of stipend, Mr. Speaker. I believe there are other things that we can do for our interns beyond just increasing their salary, Mr. Speaker, that will end realization of knowing how much. You may want to do some more research on these particulars to converse about, so that you guide us and help us appreciate that as we make some of these decisions, Mr. Speaker, what is the impact on the economy, Mr. Speaker? What will be the cost? And you know, Mr. Speaker, nowadays, I have seen a trend and a practice. I'm not sure anyway that I want to wade into that conversation because it's very alive. Even as I speak, Mr. Speaker, I have messages on my phone about that particular topic, which I don't want to get into at this particular time. But we must be serious, Mr. Speaker, as a country, as a leadership, the same way we are pushing counties to stick within the provisions of Regulation 25 of the PFM, which is to keep personnel emoluments below 35%, Mr. Speaker, that we must push the same from the national government as well. We must have a capping, Mr. Speaker. And these are some of the things that we said when we passed that motion, possible to satisfy everything at every time. And that being the case, then we must begin to ask ourselves, what do we prioritize at this point? What is it that we can pay? We must have a limit, Mr. Speaker, and say that beyond a certain limit, Mr. Speaker, there is nothing that you do. You just tell people it's not there and it's not there. This thing of selling hope, Mr. Speaker, on matters finances is what has made our life very difficult. Other countries, Mr. Speaker, are honest with each other. And they're able to tell people that, unfortunately, we are sorry. This is a maximum that we can employ at this particular time. Let's wait. If things get better, we'll have that conversation. But somehow, somewhere, beyond. And that is what has messed us up to get us to this point where we are consuming 90 billion shillings every month, Mr. Speaker. And in fact, that conversation is not complete, Mr. Speaker, because I know in my days in budget and finance, we've always asked, in these days of AI, Mr. Speaker, in this country where technological penetration is in levels higher than the rest of our peers in sub-Saharan Africa, Mr. Speaker, why is it not possible to establish the accurate number of public workers in this country, Mr. Speaker? I know for a fact because I read through it, you have no legitimate way of checking. And there are people who resist it. Within the structures of public service, Mr. Speaker, any attempt to establish the accurate number of public workers so that we know out of this 90 billion, for example, that CS Mbadi is telling us we we are consuming every month. Many work in the core civil service. We need to know so that we can have a proper conversation that is informed, Mr. Speaker, by figures, so that we know where is it that we can trim. We can be honest with each other and say, I don't think this is sufficient a number to have. All we read, Mr. Speaker, and we are fighting about it, is that, oh, we have a shortage of policemen, we are employing 10,000 this year, we have a shortage of this other one, we are adding this particular number. That conversation cannot be complete, Mr. Speaker, unless the National Treasury leads the country into having a conscious conversation about earnings in the public service, Mr. Speaker. And that will only happen if they are open with the figures. It's not enough for the minister to just tell us, oh, it's 90 billion. 90 billion paying who? Where? How many, Mr. Speaker, in total? I believe that until those figures are brought to fore, this conversation is not complete, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, while I agree with what Senator Cherargei is proposing to us, I feel that for him to do proper justice to his motion, he has to add the numbers that we are asking for. With those many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Senator Sifuna.
I know he's watching us from the US. I was not able to take his statements because he had delegated to me, but I'm sure I will get opportunity to do them. But we have to have difficult conversations with the Senator for Nandi. The way the majority leader was saying. Mr. Speaker, when this motion was brought, because I also have advisors on public service, I thought there, yeah, we as leaders must accept that we don't know everything and that there are experts in this country. Honorable Speaker, if you public service, it's just that we have not created an environment for them to feel safe to come and offer those services here at home. So I spoke to somebody who is very well versed with this issue of internship in the public service that we lawyers do, so that you are able to get some practical experience in the field that you studied before you go into formal employment. Now, the way that it was designed, at least this is what I was told, 1,000 shillings, which, Honorable Speaker, if you remember, I don't know where you went for your pupillage, but Honorable Speaker, I went, I went to pupillage, the first one at a law firm called Cairo and McCourt. Teach me at that law firm is more than anything that I have learned in the university. And those of you who went to pupillage at under Mr. McCourt, remember he had a favorite term for all people who were not properly backed. And I will always appreciate everything that I learned under Mr. McCourt. In 2005, he was than anything else. And I remember it was very tough because surviving in Nairobi on such a stipend was very, very difficult. And Speaker, he used to make it even more painful that instead of just giving you that 7,500 across the counter, he would actually write you a check. So Speaker, we used to just see like he just wanted to spite us some more. And those days you had to wait for checks to mature. I don't know if that we have failed to create enough opportunities for young people to work. People want to work. Speaker, if you saw the numbers, the sheer numbers of people who apply for jobs when an advertisement is put out, these are not lazy people who think they want to earn an easy living. They want to work for the country. It is for us as a leadership to create these opportunities for them. So even when somebody lands an internship in public service, they actually see it as a job. And they are always looking to see if they can be confirmed in those roles and to push the envelope as much as possible. Because after you finish that internship, Senator Cherargei, you go out there and there are no other opportunities for you. That is where the problem is, Honorable Speaker. So for me, really, if you talk about this amount, these ones are doing a bit better than the junior secondary school teachers. You can imagine who are earning 17,000 shillings, Honorable Speaker, a full-time salary. Surviving in this city on 17,000 shillings is almost a miracle. And when I hosted the teachers for World Teachers Day on the 5th of October, they are telling us stories, Honorable Speaker, that first of all, as a man, there's no way you can bring your wife, if you're married, to Nairobi to stay with you under that 17,000 shillings. The wife has to remain at home there, up country. And Honorable Speaker, you know the strain that it puts on marriages when there is that distance between the husband and wife. It is impossible to find decent housing. Speaker, I don't know what the global recommended amount of money or percentage you should spend of your salary you should spend on accommodation. But at least 30%, Honorable Speaker, should go to finding you accommodation. If you did 30% of 17,000, it's just slightly above 5,000 in silence. If you speak to them, they will tell you even the rate of suicide is very high. What I want to tell them, because I know they are watching, and this behavior started with this other union, Honorable Speaker, that we were trying to push for permanent and pensionable terms. I think it was the doctors. No, the UHC workers. We want to help, but please, don't harass us. Speaker, you get a leader, maybe one of the leaders in the union, whoever it is, have a sit down. We are reasonable people. Have a conversation with us and we will represent you. But Speaker, this idea of just spamming leaders from morning to evening, even you cannot read any other messages on your phone. It is just confirming JS teachers permanent and pensionable. I want to look at them in the eye and tell them, are you really helping yourselves by spamming the very people that you want to help to survive on 17,000 shillings, let alone 25,000 shillings in this country, in this town? Speaker, there is another, factor for Senator Cherargei to consider. But then the unintended consequence might be that there is a reduction in the number of opportunities that are then offered to the young people for training. So, Speaker, unless the National Assembly allocates more money towards this internship program in the public service, it might be very difficult to enhance without having a reduction in the number of people who are offered those opportunities. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, there's something to consider that the Public Service Commission, now, Senator Cherargei, when we pass this motion, you have said them to increase the stipend offered to interns to cushion them against the high cost of living. I don't know how we are going to circumvent the fact that we are dealing with an independent commission. Maybe, Honorable Speaker, maybe there could be another way of how to increase the allocation towards this program. Then we can have not only more young people joining the program, but also them living on a proper stipend. Speaker, it is incumbent upon us as a leadership had a conversation, and the reason why I was late, Honorable Speaker, we had been invited to have a conversation with the Ambassador of Germany and France, and they talk about the business environment that has been created in the country, that they would want, does not really care as a plant where it is in the world. You can plant it in the middle of Naivasha, but there are certain things you have to put there. You have to have the proper infrastructure, protect the business itself. They are willing to invest. And what we must do as leaders is to look at the circumstances of doing business in this country, the taxation regime that we put in place, and so on and so forth. And even, Speaker, as far as the dispute resolution mechanisms, one of the reasons why you see many of these international contracts have clauses for arbitration or settlement of disputes through arbitration in foreign jurisdictions is because they have no faith in the Kenyan judicial system to be able to resolve disputes. And disputes are commonplace in business. It can be a dispute about anything. So, Honorable Speaker, that is where the responsibility for leadership lies, that we are able to look at all of these things to be able to create a level playing field for all business people from across the world, and they will most definitely invest. We were discussing about even the regime that supports privately initiated proposals, private-public partnerships. The law is that we are required as a country to let the whole world know what are the priority projects for which we are seeking partnership. It should not be a secret like how we handle the airport, Honorable Speaker. It was a terrible way to handle a project of that magnitude. Let the country know that we want a second terminal. It's privately initiated. We know it will come to a specific person. That person has a responsibility to disclose. And I want to thank the CS for Treasury Mbadi, because after that debacle of Adani, I saw him publish in the newspapers some guidelines on how to handle those privately initiated proposals. And those are the conversations we want to have, because some of us, Honorable Speaker, are believers in the Constitution. If you look at Article 10, everything that is done in this country requires to follow those guidelines in Article 10, including transparency. Let us not wait to see on social media that, oh, the airport has been sold. No, that communication needs to come from government. They say we have received this proposal, we are looking at it, and this is what they are saying we should do. So that we encourage investors to be able to invest in our country and create the employment that is needed. Speaker, we had a delegation here in Parliament from the German here. Ukiwa na njaa daddy today we have not eaten. And then you don't do, some of us would go to the ends of the world for our children. So the conversation we are having, even as Europe grapples with the question of immigration, the source of the problem is here. Can we create an environment in Africa, in our countries, that discourages people to go out? Even this issue of sending people out there, I don't know why anyone would be proud. Because basically, you are piggybacking on efforts of other countries to be able to create opportunities for their people. Then you say we have sent 10,000 Kenyans there. How many of them are coming here to work in businesses that you've built? That is the question we need to ask. And how many Kenyans have you provided to work? They want to be able to put into practice the things that they went to school to learn, and that is our responsibility as leadership. Nandi, and I hope that there can be a lasting solution to the problem of unemployment in Kenya. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Wamatinga.